The Puravankara group builds homes. We've been building people's dream homes since 47 years now. While our construction technologies have always been cutting edge, there's a new thing that we all have been gearing towards: climate change. It's an important discussion. Everybody's talking about it. Our customers are talking about it. When they come to buy a home, they're asking us, is my life going to be sustainable? Is living here going to be sustainable living? Even with the most innovative construction technologies, you can have the best of sewage treatment plants, you can have the best of rainwater harvesting systems in every building that you build. But one thing that we cannot do, and nobody can, is create or generate more water. So this is where our founder and chairman, Mr. Ravi Puravankara, he said we have to pivot, especially in the work that we do in social development. We find a campaign running called the Million Wells Recharge Campaign, and this is being run by the BIOME Trust.
We actually started what would then become formally the Million Wells campaign as early as 2010, right? We started to work on open wells. But in 2015 or thereabouts, we came across this community of Mannu Vaddars. Mannu Vaddars is a special community which works exclusively on digging tanks, the lakes that we see all across South India, and wells.
ಬಾವಿ ತೋಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಮೊದಲು ಬಾವಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ತೋಡಬೇಕಂತ ಮೊದಲು ನಾವು ಜಾಗ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಮೊದಲು ಮಾರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಂತೀವಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಉದ್ಲಿ ಪೂಜೆ ಆದ ನಂತರ ಬಾವಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
I was surprised to come across several of them who were continuing their traditional pursuit. They were going from home to home, looking at old open wells, desilting them, cleaning them, disinfecting them, and making sure they became functional. But because the borewell culture had captured the city, their livelihood was at stake.
15-16 ವರ್ಷದ ಹಿಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂಚೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಬಾವಿಗಳು ತೆಗಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಮನೆಗೂ ಪ್ರತಿ ಮನೆಗೂ ತೆಗಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಈಗ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗೋಯ್ತು. ನಮಗೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮನೆ ಕೇಳಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಇವರು BIOME ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಈ ಬೋವಿ ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಅನುಕೂಲ ಆಗೈತೆ. ಮೊದಲು ಯಾವ ಥರ ಬಾವಿಗಳು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ವೋ ಅದೇ ಥರ ಇವಾಗ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಬಾವಿಗಳು ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾವ್ರೆ. ಬರೀ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ವು. ಈಗ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಕೂಡ ಬಾವಿಗಳು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೈಸೂರು ಕಡೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ವಿ, ತಮಿಳ್ನಾಡು, ಆಂಧ್ರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ, ಉಡುಪಿ, ಮಂಗಳೂರು ಕಡೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗಿ ಈ ಊರ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಈಗ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಬರ್ತಾಯಿದೆ ಕೆಲಸಗಳು. ಇನ್ನು ಯಾವುದು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೂ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ, ಬಾವಿಗಳು ತೋಡೋದೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೆಲಸ.
Here was rainwater harvesting, which was trying to look at taking rainwater and putting it into the aquifer. Here was the Mannu Vaddar community wanting to earn a livelihood. And how to tie these both up. That was the idea which led to what we call the Million Wells scheme. Now, the idea of the Million Wells scheme is the existing wells should be protected, connected to rooftop rainwater, filtered rainwater, and recharged so that they become more productive, more water and more quality water will come. And to dig new recharge wells. Let me just draw a bit of attention to the history of Bangalore. In the 1880s, the city went through a bad 2 years of drought. There was famine also. More than 1 lakh people died. This had a profound impact on those who were ruling the city or governing the city. So they planned the Hesarghatta water scheme. In 1895, Hesarghatta water started to come to Bangalore. Once Hesarghatta water started to come to Bangalore, the city lost its connect with rainwater and with the tanks and with the well system. Because water came, the city grew. Pretty soon the water was insufficient. So therefore, you had to plant Tippugondanhalli in the 1930s. And then the Kaveri in the 1970s. So at every point of time, water comes to the city grows, there's a water shortage, and then there's a new major infrastructure. But now the city is about 13 million people, right? Yeah. The Kaveri water is about 1,450 million liters per day. Another 775 million liters per day will come as part of the Kaveri 5th phase, but hopefully the end of the year. But that's it. There's no more water from the Kaveri. On the other hand, rainwater falling on the city is equivalent to 3,000 million liters per day. And we see the phenomenon of urban flooding. So the connect is, can this rainwater which falls on the city be collected and stored in some tanks or rain barrels? And can it be used to fill the aquifers? So that once the water is there in the sponge-like layer below the ground, it can then be tapped through open wells and bore wells to augment the city's water supply. So rainwater is going to be a crucial element of the city's water security, and the aquifer and the open wells will be the points of connect which people will have with water and rainwater, and which they can use in summertime to overcome scarcity.
India is a groundwater civilization. Much as we speak of our rivers like the Ganges, Kaveri, Godavari, what we don't realize is that more than 90% of the rural water demand for irrigation, for domestic water supply is actually met from groundwater. Groundwater from open wells and bore wells. The groundwater withdrawal in India per year exceeds the sum total of China and America put together. So just imagine the kind of groundwater we are extracting.
Aquifer is a portion of the earth which can hold water and release it. Imagine it like a sponge. The sponge is below the ground. It can vary to a depth of 100 to 120 feet, or it can be 10 to 20 feet. The sponge will absorb water, provided we allow rainwater to percolate into it. Then if we put a well, like a straw into the sponge, we can then draw the water. An aquifer is a large sponge capable of holding water and releasing it. Every site which is unbuilt releases about 15% of the rain that falls onto it into the storm drain. Once the site is built upon, a small site, a large apartment, large educational institution, the volume of water that goes now into the storm drains is 95%. From 15 to 95% is the increase in the urban flooding potential. So what we try to do is to make the site responsible for the rainwater that falls on it. How should it manage that water? It can store the water or it can recharge it. For recharging, a recharge well is what is recommended. So if you do a recharge well, you're taking all the rainwater, pushing it into the aquifer, preventing urban flooding. The city has 4 lakh to 5 lakh bore wells. It has up to 20,000 open wells. All these 4 lakh to 5 lakh bore wells and those 20,000 open wells can come back to life if 1 million recharge well puts all the rainwater that falls into the city into the aquifer. So it's tying up existing infrastructure of bore wells and open wells and creating new ones to augment water to prevent urban flooding.
ಈಗ ನಾವು ಬೋರು ಅಂತ ಕೊರ್ಸೋಕೆ ಹೋದರೆ ಸುಮಾರು 1,500 ಅಡಿ ಗಂಟ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ ಇವಾಗ. ನಮಗೆ ಆವಾಗಲೂ ಕೆಲವು ಕಡೆ ನೀರು ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ ಈ ಬಾವಿಗಳು ಆ ಥರ ಅಲ್ಲ. ನಮ್ಗೆ 1000 ಅಡಿ 100 ಅಡಿನೂ ಬಾವಿ ಇರಲ್ಲ. 20, 30, 40, 50 ಅಡಿಯಲ್ಲೇ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ನೀರು ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಕುಡಿಯೋಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತದೆ.
The city's rainfall is on an average of 1,000 millimeters. It's also spread over 8 months and 60 rainy days. So therefore, it's got a great potential to be able to tap into and store. The city has made it mandated to harvest rainwater. As part of that mandate, you pick rooftop rainwater, filter it, and you put it into what is called a recharge well. A recharge well is typically 3 to 6 feet in diameter, roughly 20 to 30 feet deep. It can glug about 1 million liters every year. Now, if every household and every institution and every apartment puts a lot of rainwater into the ground, the aquifer will come up. And that water can be drawn through our open wells. With the help of the Mannu Vaddars, we estimate that at least 10,000 old open wells have been revived and about 200,000 recharge wells have been done in Bangalore. We're 20% of our target. India's water security is under tremendous stress and tremendous challenge, and every bit of work will help address that challenge so that we have water security till 2050. There's one another feature of the open well which is very, very fascinating. The open well is functional, it provides us water, but it's a great communicator. It tells you that summer is approaching, water level is going down, so be careful in the use of water. It rewards you for good behavior. If you recharge, the water table comes up and you're able to use more water. It punishes you for bad behavior. If you throw garbage around, if you allow sewage around, it gets polluted, you're unable to use it. So there's this great signaling of the ecological scarcity of a resource being communicated to individuals, provided we're willing to listen. We want to revive this communication aspect of the open well. We want to revive the livelihoods which are traditional and 1,000-year-old, and we want to make the city water secure. All these combines in the Million Well campaign.
Some of the wells that have already been dug in Bangalore have seen a domino effect, not only in impacting ecosystems, but also increasing biodiversity. There is only value in conserving water and using these traditional methods to do so, because we believe investing in water is investing in humanity.